everyone. It is Katie with Childcare Confidential, and I'm hopping on here to do a submission story from one of our listeners. This one is going to hit some nerves, but in the best way. So let's get into it. So the story. Hi, I don't even know where to start, so I'm just going to be honest. I am exhausted, not just end of the day tired. I mean mentally, emotionally, questioning my entire career choice exhausted. I've been in childcare for about 5 years and I used to love it. Like I was the teacher who stayed late, made the cute little lesson plans, rotated centers, and did all of the things. And now I feel like I'm just trying to survive the day without someone crying, even including me. Here's the situation. I have a child in my class. He's 4 and he runs my classroom. And I don't even mean that in a funny way anymore. He hits, throws chairs, screams during transition, refuses to clean up, and will literally just walk out of the group like he's got somewhere else better to be. I understand. And every time something happens, I'm expected to handle it. Which, okay, I get it. That's my job. But what's frustrating is that I am trying everything. I'm redirecting. I'm using calm language. I'm offering choices. I'm doing all the things we're supposed to do. But yet, somehow, I still feel like I'm the problem. Because when I ask for help, I get things like, just stay consistent. Build a relationship. He just needs more attention. And when I'm like, okay, when? Because while I'm trying to give him one-on-one attention, I have 11 other kids who also deserve my time and who are now starting to copy his behavior, by the way. Ooh. So now I've got multiple kids testing my limits, parents starting to ask questions, and I'm standing here like, am I losing control of my classroom, or is this just what we're calling developmentally appropriate now? And can we talk about that for a second? Because I feel like everything is labeled as developmentally appropriate, but at what point do we actually acknowledge that something more is going on or more support is needed? Yes. Yes. Say it louder for my friends in the back. Yes. I don't want to be the teacher who just gives up on a child. I care about him. I really do. But I also feel like I'm being asked to carry way more than one person can realistically handle. And the guilt is the worst part. Because on my hard days, I'm not as patient, I'm not as calm, and then I go home and replay everything in my head thinking I should have handled that better. I just feel stuck. Like I'm trying to do the right thing, but I don't have the support, the tools, or honestly the capacities to keep going at this level. I guess my question is this normal? And at what point do we stop saying, just try harder, and actually start changing something? Ooh, okay, so there is so much in this viewer and listener story, because what she just described, that's not a classroom problem. That's a systems problem, and we're gonna talk about it. Okay. So first of all, everybody needs to take a break and a breath, including this gal or fella who wrote into us, because if you're listening to this and thinking, this is literally my life right now, I need you to hear me when I say it like this, you're not failing. You're overwhelmed. And those are two very different things. Let's just call this what it actually is. This is a not challenging behavior situation. This is a support and systems issue. Because one teacher, no matter how skilled, no matter how patient, no matter how experienced, is not meant to carry this level of intensity alone all day, every single day. And when we start telling teachers things like, just stay consistent, or build a relationship, or give more attention, without actually giving them support, we're not helping, we're just adding the pressure. We're literally fueling the fire of burnout. And I want to talk about the guilt for a second too, because I know that they had mentioned in their story, guilt was eating them alive. Because that's the part that sticks to you. That's the part that rots in your soul. You replay the day. You think about all the things you could have done differently. You feel like you should have been more patient, more calm, more everything. But here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. That's my favorite saying, and I will say it again and again and again, and I mean it. And when you're in survival mode, your brain is not in teaching mode. It's in get through that moment mode, because you can do it. That's not failure. That's being a human and normal. So you were fine. Let's talk about the child. Because yes, behavior is real. We see it all the time, more and more, especially lately. Hitting, throwing chairs, running, refusing. That's not something we just brush off as typical and move on. Is some of it developmentally expected? Sure, of course it is. But this level, this intensity, this consistency, That's a signal. That's a child who needs more support than what's currently been given to them in that classroom setup. And recognizing that it's not giving up on the child, you're advocating for them, which is even more of a hard choice to make, but more selfless on your behalf, because you know that you're not able to provide the resources that that child needs. You got to find someone who can, even if it's not you, and it doesn't make you a failure. That's not something we accept. That's something we respond to with more support, more structure, and sometimes even more resources. First, you gotta have support, real support. That might look like a set of hands during the high stress moments when we are like losing our marbles. That might mean a plan for transition, because some of my friends just really struggle with that transitions part. That might mean leadership stepping in, and not just checking in. I mean, stepping in, like, here's my hands. Where do you need them? I can do whatever you tell me. Consistent strategies across all staff. Yes, I've seen this time and time again, where some people think that they have these consistent strategies, but one teacher does one way and one does the other, and one way works and one doesn't. If there's not consistency, you're never going to have some kind of normalcy. So keep that in mind. Because consistency doesn't come from one person trying harder. It comes from a team that works together. So keep that in mind too. And I want you to hear this too, clearly, listener, writer who submitted this wonderful story, which we are so appreciative of. So thank you so much. You caring this much, you questioning yourself, you wanting to do more or do better, that already tells me that you are a phenomenal teacher, a fantastic teacher, a teacher who didn't care, wouldn't be asking these questions. But being a good teacher doesn't mean doing everything alone or taking on these burdens alone. And for any listeners that are listening that may be in a leading or leader position, this is your moment. If a teacher is coming to you feeling like this, the answer is not advice. Don't say, I can give you all this. No, it's support. Support is your key word here. Because when teachers are overwhelmed, your classrooms are going to suffer. And when classrooms suffer, guess who else suffers? The kids. The kids suffer. So the person who sent this in, and honestly, to all of the people who are listening, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it in a system that needs to better support you. And the goal is not just to handle it better. You're doing enough. You need more support. The goal is to create an environment where you can be successful, because this work is too important and too hard for us to do it alone. Struggling does not mean you're not good at your job. It means that something else needs to change. Again, we are so thankful for this listener for sending in this story to us. We cannot wait to get a few more. Again, subscribe, listen, like, follow, do all of the things. And remember, what we do is hard work, and we should be proud of it. Until next time, bye-bye.